Thank you very much. In fact, I have to say that to start with, I'm very much grateful to Bobby for having invited me to come over and to share my experience or my thoughts with you. And I don't have the pretension of being a mobile encyclopedia to share you with great brightening thoughts. But as the sociologist Bourdieu would say, more than speaking about the Japanese societies, it is easier to speak about one's own society. So I would rather stick on to my fundamental concept of sharing my thoughts based upon my experience. And if you can take some kind of ray of light to build up the way you think and the way you are going to brighten the pathways of the people whom you come across, which could be your students, it could be the family, it could be the people around in your society, I would be very happy. The principal, Dr. Johnson, we spoke very good things about me. Thank you very much for those nice words. The vice principal, Father Bennu Pudia Parambil, also had good words. Thank you very much. The bursar, Father James Punnaplakil, thank you very much those words. I think that I already met you a couple of times when I was a student. I remember when you came for vacations, I think. And it was in one of the retreat sessions which you passed away to help us. And thank you once again, Bobby, for organizing it. So let's start. I have been teaching in universities for the last 18 years. And since 2019, I have taken a leave from my assignments in the university because I have a couple of companies in Europe and in India, and I don't have much time to take care of teachings. And I always believe that if I want to teach, I need more time and I should be completely there. Probably, I'm 47 now, and probably by within 10 years or something like that, I may go back to teaching again. So the idea that we have discussed today is about the discussion that we would be having today. I don't want to call it to be a great seminar or about inspiring, but I would rather call it a personal discussion, and it will last about 45 minutes, and then you can ask me questions and I will try to give you responses the way I think. And we go from the basic principle that we all have, all do agree that to disagree. So from that principle, we will start. I hope you could see the slide. The theme that we have taken, brightening the pathway. The first principle where we have to move from, or the fundamental hypothesis, is that we cannot hold a torchlight to light others' life or pathway unless we are able to brighten our own pathway. It is just like if you take a coffee, if you don't have your cup filled in, it cannot pour out. You can't share it to somebody else. So as teachers, we are all called to a specific vocation of sharing what we have. And we cannot, even whatever be the researches, whatever be the books that we have, whatever be the extraordinary preparation that we would be doing, if we are unable to have that imbibed into what we are, we will not be convincingly communicating to our students what we want them to take. And not to be very cynical, we are often come with the concept that we have ideas, notions, etc., that we would be taking from books, notions, researches, and the technology is so vast and advanced. So we would take it all from all collected and then share it to students, and they will go and learn it, and they will bring out all those in the exams. And I fundamentally feel that that is one of the defects of the whole system. And I thought about it even much younger. I didn't appreciate learning these things in the school, like many, and probably not knowing why I didn't like. Later, probably when I was studying in Pavanatma College, I didn't consciously like it because I thought it is not very useful. But that time I came to the idea that you cannot change the system unless you master it. So that is the basic principle from where I moved on since 1992. If you disagree with something, and if it is completely within the structural system, then you cannot change it because you are not big enough, strong enough to do that. Then everything is not in your control. Then you have to master it and prove that you can and you're good at it, and then you change it. And you can. That is, you can change the system, at least the system around you, system within you, and system, those parts of the systems which are stuck to you or around you can be changed. And changing any system or education or the way you educate people can happen if only we are able to change our own selves. And how that happens. I hope you people know this word. And I specifically appreciate this word because I start my day with that. In our society in India, fundamentally, we are all religious people. And I very often ask myself how far we are spiritual. It has nothing to do with any names that we attribute to a God, but rather it is a personal relationship with your Creator. Because I start my day waking up because I'm very glad to be awake, and not because that I'm not dead. It's because I can do many things, and I have a new day. And I start my day every morning, almost 3:30 in the morning. I wake up, and I have a journal book in which I will write every day. I write four things for which I'm grateful. And why I do it, it is not to thank any God. It is to say that I'm happy about many things today. Getting an opportunity to talk to the people who have a link to the family of Pavanatma, it is something extraordinary. You could go to anywhere in the world, but being called to your family and your family asks you to share your life with them, that is the greatest of honor that you would be able to get. So I write it down systematically every day, four things, big or small, the things about which I'm grateful. And it is not a prayer. It is simply a journal on which I would be writing four things about why I'm grateful today. And people could ask me why I do it. Is it because I want to thank a God? It is not fundamentally that. It has nothing to do with any prayer thing of an individual or anything that is religious. It is because when you are grateful for even the smallest things, you will get more and more opportunity to thank in your life. First thing. Second thing, you have a better feeling immediately, very beginning in the morning. That is, it is a very positive energy that I receive when I write down the four things about which there could be many, but four things I make it a point that I write down every day in the morning about which I am grateful. And one of the attributes of it is the whole day becomes something that would have that positive energy weighing and carrying you to do the things with the greater vigor, greater energy, greater positivism. And when you are positive, when you are happy, when you feel more comfortable about yourself, the quality of the work that you do will be entirely different. And the attitude that you have towards the people whom you meet and the discussions that you have and the interactions that you go through and the communications that even in email is going to be different because you're grateful. And you know, it is even when you speak over telephone to somebody, you need not really smile, but people who see me speaking over telephone, they say that all my emotions are there. I smile, I laugh because I'm grateful. And I live it completely each moment of my life because being grateful for everything that you have is the fundamental lesson in one's life to brighten the path of your own. And just because you brighten your path, you don't need to go out to the students to brighten their path, because they will be able to see a bright path that you would be taking. That is the greatest of all lessons that we could transmit to our students. And that is the lesson where they are looking at you and then they are able to see how wonderful the life, and because the way you travel, the way you step the path should witness and should become also should stand out as the best of the lessons that we could give to any of the students or anybody else that we come across. And today, when we speak, I will speak about or share the things in four basic things. The first one is I will that is to share with you what is my fundamental philosophy of life, or the points on which, or the basic values on which I fix my life and move forward. Then I will tell you two stories of my own making. Then I will speak to you about two women who made a lasting influence in my life, and I hope and I think that it's not going to change anyway. And finally, I will talk to you some of the principles by which I live to lighten the path I choose to travel. And I deliberately don't go out to people to brighten their path, but I try to eliminate the pathways that I take so that the people who come close to me or people who look at me would be able to see what brightness is there. And I don't hesitate to share the light that I have to anybody, or I don't mind that the people could get a brightness from the pathway that I would be taking. The basic philosophy on which I stood on is that you cannot brighten the pathway of others if you're not in the brightness. And you live because you have an objective that you have fixed. I can speak only about myself. It may sound to be very narcissistic, but that is not the case, because I try the most to understand me and to live the maximum that is possible, to live an authentic self. Because when you live an authentic self, or when you do everything to serve your authentic self, you are bringing out the best in you. So I always want the things to take place in such a way that the people could get the light from the way I take, and they could themselves serve their own authentic selves. But when you have a purpose, when you want to have a better life, when you want to do it everything in a different way than others, people don't expect that everybody around you would be happy. Even the family members, even your partners, even it can be that your friends are not happy, your family is not happy, your partner is not happy. Don't expect that people should appreciate you. Don't expect that people would say, oh, that is very good. No. Very often, many people are not happy for you about the path you take, because you have an objective. You want to realize that objective come what may. And, when people are not happy about the good thing that you do, they are not going to tell you that they are not happy about you. How will you understand that somebody is not happy about you? Very often people will say, like, what the hell he thinks about himself? What the hell? What he is or what she is taking herself for. That means what you do in your life is not familiar to the other people. They don't agree with, they don't understand you. Fundamentally, if you want to have an ordinary life, a happy job, a good family, and a decent job, a decent life, it is not very difficult. It's not very difficult. 99% of the population, whether our students or ourselves, 99% of us always look forward to have a happy life, ordinary life, an okay life rather, not happy life. But ultimately, we are not made to lead an okay life. And when we don't feel okay in our system, we may go to a retreat center and spend 1 week and everything is okay. And I do believe that that is not the normal human way of doing things. The ultimate thing is that you have to serve the ultimate purpose for which you are here. And you are not supposed to limit yourself in anything and everything that you do. So we will be now looking at these 4 parts on which I try to structure it. And as I don't teach for the last 2 years, I'm not very good nowadays for teaching. And the pandemic has made it more complicated with the technology and all. And I feel less comfortable speaking on a platform like this. But that's fine, because we don't have the choice about it. But and to take a lesson with that is, we don't have the control about the circumstances on which we are or the circumstances around us, but we can choose the way we are going to react to the circumstances. So I will tell you those 2 stories of my life, which really influenced or really touched my life. The first story happened when I was 10 years old. I was going to school in Paratod, and I think I was in the 6th grade. During that time, you know, every 3 months in the school, I went to a management school. You need to pay a special fee of almost 3 rupees every 3 or 4 months. I think it happened 4 times in a year. And my mother was working as a coolie to raise 4 of us. And in the first trimester, I think it was towards September, I was supposed to pay the 3 rupees. Normally, towards the beginning of the month, there is a deadline where you would be paying your 3 rupees without any fine. And towards the 20th of the month, you may be asked to pay with 10 paise as additional fine. And at the end of the month, it would be with 20 or something like that. And with or without fine, in any case, even the last day I hadn't paid. We were some 40 students in the class. And my class teacher was a religious nun, and she came to the class. And she got in, and then I was feeling uncomfortable with a sense of inferiority, and even a bit ashamed because I knew everybody had paid. You know, a small child of 10 years old who may not be able to understand every detail of not having or not being in possession of what is required by the society or the system. The teacher started sarcastically saying, you know, out of all these 40, I still remember. And I met that sister 2 years ago. And she didn't remember. I didn't tell her neither. She started speaking. Out of all these people, you know, one half has not paid. And stand up that person. Oh, I stood up. And then I was, you know, weird behavior patterns, you know. I was looking up, looking to the side, very, very, very much uncomfortable. Then I was looking at all, and all were sitting, and I was standing, and I had a weird feeling that I was taller than all others in spite of not paying anything. Then I felt like laughing, but I didn't laugh, but it was there on my face. And then she was not happy. Then she asked me to climb on the bench. I stood up. This time I couldn't stop laughing. I took it really positively that time. I thought myself, those who paid, they really became stupid because they are 2 below me, because I'm standing on top, on the pedestal. There, she got really angry. She started shouting, and you know, that my teeth is not in level, so my lips are it's very difficult for me to hold my lips together. And you know, you don't have these days it is okay because you don't have that difficulty of eating. You don't have the poverty that would stop you from having food, so you become bulky, you have the enough grease in you to make it more comfortable. And that time it is old, tiny, meager, lean guy. The teeth is going this way, and fairly for her, she was shouting, and then she was telling, you haven't paid, then you're laughing with your teeth going to the sky. You know, it remained marked in my heart for some 20 years. And that time I would ask myself, the fact that I didn't pay the special fees on time because my mom didn't have it, what the hell it got to do with my teeth? I never understood. That is one story. But I could understand it later. And I was feeling ashamed, and I wouldn't ever take a photograph because, you know, it was not beautiful. And I thought that I was I was ugly, not beautiful. My teeth was something which I wanted to cover all the time. And it took almost till 1998, when I came to Europe, that I really fell in love with my teeth. Because that's very important to understand that. Because as my lips never came closer, people thought that I was always laughing. Europeans, you know, they thought that Babu is always positive, Babu is always happy, you know, he's always smiling. But I knew for sure that it's because of my teeth that my lips never got closer. So they took it for granted that I was very happy. And that opened the doors for me. So probably when I was 10 years old or till I was young adult, my mom, who wouldn't be able to pay for the food, couldn't pay for an orthodontist to align my teeth. But I don't regret it today, or even much before, because if she had the means to make it happen, people would not have taken me the way they take me, even today. People, even when I'm angry or when I disagree, people think that Babu is really happy. And the second story is happened when I was doing my pre-degree course. You know, the first lady about whom I told the first story, I don't keep any grudge. I had a lunch with her 18 months ago when I came to India. But she doesn't know that I still keep that incident, but very positively today. And the second story is more creative. The one was also a teacher. The second one is also going to be the story of a teacher. I had a 2 years break. 1 year, 8 months I went to a seminary, which was a flop. And 1 year I worked with my mom because she wouldn't be able to pay for me to go to the college. And everything changed when I came to Pavanatma College. I should say that it redefined my life. And that is the second story. I met another teacher who was also religious, accidentally from the same congregation. And she was my history professor. And I would say that she had a dream for me. And she believed in me. And she made me feel that she believed in me. And she made me understood that she had a dream for me. And she would give me everything possible within her reach to color my imagination. And today, when I say that I want to be unique, different come what may, and I'm least bothered about what the people would think about me or take me for, it all happened because she was able to educate me that way. And here in Europe, whether my colleagues or my business partners or the people at large would say that, Babu, you only have the skin of Indians and you don't behave like one. And you have a different pattern and outlook. And I think that I evolved into this kind of a person to rediscover and to serve my authentic self, because I met a great professor when I was in my pre-degree course. And she was one of the most inspiring persons that I have ever come across in my life. And I learned from her, you know, I remember one of those days when I thought that my English was the best in the world when I was studying, and I took myself really for granted. But she made me understand that it's nothing, and you really need to go much further. And the first target that she gave was to read all the abridged versions of English novels in the library. I don't know how the library in Pavanatma College is today, but that time it was on top over there next to the ground, two rooms. And on the left side of the library, on the left corner of the wall, there was a shelf, three lines, yeah, three shelves with English abridged versions of novels. And she gave me, it was around 70 or 80 novels. She gave me 3 months to finish it. And it is there I started reading. And those 70 or 71 novels I read in 1992 really took me to a high level. The first 3 novels I remember, I used to write down all the words, because almost 90% of them I really didn't understand whether the first meaning or the layers of meaning. And from there, I knew, because I spent those 2 years in close proximity. And it is not simply that she taught me how to imagine. She would understand me when I was hungry, and she would give me food. And she would understand me when I felt low, when I had a problem in my family, without I going to her and speaking about it. And she would understand me when I was feeling not comfortable, and when I didn't have the means to go for, because materially something may not be possible. And I would say that that is the call that each teacher has got. She was a superb teacher. It all depends upon how the people would look at that. But for me, she was a very good teacher. And it is not for that whole experience that you have within the classroom of imparting information or data that a teacher would be remembered for. Rather, the brightness that she or he is able to bring to the life of that student, to enable him or her to recognize his or her authentic self, and to brighten it, and to serve that authentic self, and to just point the finger to that student to understand that this is how you are unique. And there is nothing in this world that can really change the life of a student than making him or her understand that she or he is unique. And she was able to make me feel that. And that was the stepping stone. That was the beginning. And from there, I was able to build that uniqueness, and to look at the top, and to move further, sometimes faster, sometimes in slower paces. And I had the lesson there. And now I would speak to you about 2 women who made a lasting influence in me. The first person who really made a lasting impression and influence in me is my mother. She went to school only till the 3rd lesson in the 3rd class. So she was not a PhD. And when I go to my students in the master's level or MBA level, I share some of the stories she taught me, some of the ideas, lessons. And those lessons are much better than what I learned from international business strategy books. One of the stories that I still keep, one of the lessons that she would describe in her own way, she would say, if there is a flood coming up, People usually complain. We are going on whining, complaining and not satisfied. Oh, what to do? I'm going to die. What the hell it is? God has given me all these because of this. You are in perpetual complaining. I'm going to die. All negative, pessimistic. But she had a superb idea. Try to float on the flood as much as you can. Then, as it is a real, brutal, savage flood, you will always have the pieces of wood which is floating on the water. Collect them, build a bark out of it, get on it, and move on. That is one of the most beautiful lessons that she gave me. And in every moment of adversity, I always know that if it is difficult, it means that I have something around me which I don't find now. I will be able to find, with which I would be able to build a bark and climb on it and then move ahead. And no adversity can stop me from trying again and working on it, because she gave me that lesson. And the second woman who really influenced me or made a lasting influence in me is Sister Annie Paul, who was my professor in Pavanatma College. I just wanted to verify with Bobby in the morning whether she is attending, because I didn't want to speak like this in front of her. I'm not somebody who is making many phone calls or messages. So I don't call her, but I met her sometime a year ago. It is she who taught me about being unique. Another lesson, because she would tell me, Babu, if you are just like others, you will always have the results like others. If you do the things all the 6 months this way, you have one particular kind of result. And the next 6 months, you cannot expect to have a different result if you always did the same way as the previous 6 months. So she would tell me, when you have reached a specific sub-objective of your life, and if you are not happy or satisfied with the result that you have, don't expect to make a better result if you continue to do the things in the same way. So you have to learn a lesson and change it. Another lesson that I have learned from her is that fear has a place only within you. It lives only within our mind. And it has no life outside you. So it is an illusion. You are concerned about something, panicking about something, because she instilled in me the concept that you are the child of God. It was not, she is a religious nun. She was not meaning it in the sense that you belong to Christ, you will be held in his hand. It is not any specific Christian philosophy that she was teaching to me. It was a wonderful spiritual concept that is applicable to anybody believing in anything. You are the child of God. That is because you feel a strength in you, because you belong to a place or an entity where you will not be weak anytime. So that gives you the confidence. So I will just quickly, in 10 minutes, share with you how we can brighten our life and then brighten the lives of others around us. It can be students, anybody. Because I cannot talk to you, because if a teacher, if you are a teacher of literature and then you have a syllabus from the university and you have to teach it, it is not like, you don't have that professional liberty like that we have in Europe to teach the students what you think is most appropriate in the lives of those students and examine those students based on what you have taught them. So you belong to a specific system. And How you can influence them is different, specific, but some common factors by which we can change our own lives and seeing that the people will change their lives. Probably. I start my day with the first concept, that is, if today were the last day of my life. I always, when I say that, people say that I'm very pessimistic. It is not true. I'm very positive. If we think that today is if we start the day with the concept that if today were the last day of my life, one day it will become true. It can be today, it can be after 2 weeks, it can be after 1 month, it can be after 2 years, it can be after 20 years. We don't know. And perhaps we may not do certain things which we plan to do today if we have that specific thought in us. Perhaps when we have a student in front of us, we will be entirely different from the way we usually behave or usually talk to them or inculcate into them. So that particular, it is not to live in fear. It is to feel that how best I would be, because we will go away anyway. So how people would say after death, always people say that he was a nice guy, but that's not what I mean. What energy you leave to the people, what warmth you have left to the people in the day and even after your life. That is one concept would change your life. And you will do always the right thing with that. You will always be doing the best of your ability. It is not best, it will be the best. And then the gratitude, which I spoke in detail, that is the core of everything. Then I always put an apostrophe to the concept of impossible. Because as I told you, as I consider myself to be the child of God, as I learned from my teacher, nothing is impossible to me. If we put an apostrophe after the I in the impossible, then it becomes I'm possible. So I always stand to not to accept the word impossible, and whenever things are presented as if it were impossible, I would put an apostrophe after I and then a space after M. Then it becomes I am possible. Another aspect is to be bluntly honest with myself. You have to be honest with others. That is only one aspect of things. That is one of the core of teaching too. Being bluntly honest with myself. And that requires a lot of courage. It requires a lot of force, energy, and humility to accept that we don't know many things. And it is also the extension of it that we cannot pretend to be anyone that we are not. We cannot pretend to be anybody more than what we are. And always do the right thing. Always. Just an example. Bobby is a teacher. He is teaching in the campus in MURICKSSERY, and then he's walking through the corridor in the college, and there is I don't know, a trash paper which is fell down from somebody or from a student, or somebody has thrown it. To bow down, take it, and then walk to the bin and throw it. That is doing the right thing. Just an example. And our position, our attachments of things do not permit us to do it. One thing. Sometimes we will do it because other people are looking at you. So you want to take a certain kind of mileage out of it. But do the right thing always, even when somebody is not watching you. That trash paper was always there. Nobody is watching you, but take it. Go and throw it into the bin. And that is doing the right thing. That is one example. And everything that we do should be consistent. Everything. How we are able to go way beyond the required teaching consistently to accompany people with these values. And another thing is, we Indians, in spite of our Gandhian philosophies and all our notions of detachment concepts, we always chase money. We live for chasing money. We send our children to best English schools not because we love them to speak English, because it is a kind of family investment. I send the kid to the school, English school, international school, so that I will have a return when I'm older. That is some aspects of things which I don't possibly appreciate. And don't chase money. We always have to chase an objective, a passion that we really love, and the money will come after you. Anything that we do should have a concept of service, teaching, sharing, counseling a student, and to dream about that student and to share that dream and to make that student feel that there is a dream within you for that student, then the significance of your service. And then money will come to you. And we have to make ourselves feel that I will become what I want to become. One, I have to really have an intention to become something, and I have to repeat it, and my brain will go and do it. Each action will have an equal and opposite reaction. Anything that you throw out to the universe will come back to you. Do everything to reach my purpose. And don't think that my past will determine what we are. We are always in the clutches of our past. And I live to serve my authentic self. And all these, if we apply to ourselves, that will brighten our pathway, our lifestyle, our teaching style, our being on the campus, and then our students will carry it. Thank you. You have, as an academic, you have, in the university, you have 3 volumes of obligations. One is teaching, one is research, and one is administrative work. You may be in charge of a program, etc. These and teaching is probably the lowest number of hours that you would be doing, and that is how all these 3 would make about 60 to 65%, then probably some 70. And in certain cases, you need time for your research. You cannot do a publication. 1 publication per year is compulsory, otherwise you will lose your job. And consultancy, you can go for publication. For example, if it is in management, it can be through case study or it can be a research article. In both the cases, the data is not going to come by imagination. So you have to go to companies. And as you are an academic in a specific field, you have 2 options. One, you go with your empirical research study to collect data to companies, to employees, or the systems, etc. Other is to go and provide you consulting, and you have the right. And in certain institutions, 50% of what you earn through consulting will go to the school, and 50% will be given to you. And that is a prevalent case in Europe. And I often feel the schools like that we have there, for management, I can say that it is possible because you can have a network of companies, and that network of companies may require your services because you have the competence. Then why can't you help them with your competencies to consult them, whether it can be about an HR policy, it can be about their strategy, it can be about their marketing, it can be about many things. So it can be about the corporate faithfulness of employees, how you will be able to retain the employees, because the average they stay 8 to 9 months now, the young generation in a company. How we can make them stay for 2 years, that would be a very good solution. So that will fetch you revenue, that will take your competence outside the school campus to the companies, to the society, etc. And if you're in sociology, for example, consultancy can be provided to those organizations which are doing social work activities. But I think financially that may not be viable for a teacher, but there are more things than being financially viable. But for companies, it is possible, because I have already done from here for companies in Delhi or in Bangalore, etc. They had some link with France, so that was easier for me. But that is possible, and I do believe that it's possible. Everything is possible after all.